The scriptures pay a great compliment to Joseph when they say that he was a just man. To be just is much more than paying your debts. It's being open to the holiness of God and being willing to let God do for you whatever he wants to do. And that was St. Joseph. He was open to God. God entrusted Joseph with the responsibility of protecting and nurturing his own divine son and his wife Mary, the two greatest treasures of God. And Joseph took that very seriously. We see that Joseph, being a just man and a righteous man, was unwilling to expose her to shame when he found she was pregnant and they weren't married yet. And so he decided to divorce her quietly. That didn't take anything away from his manhood. In fact, it enhanced it, because notice he decided to divorce her quietly. He did not want to shame the Blessed Mother. His heart went out to her. Can you imagine being such a good man, how he loved Mary when he was engaged to her, and how he longed to be married to her? And God intervenes and says, this is going to be a very special marriage because my divine son will be born through it. And so Joseph is a true model of manhood in this day and age when manly life and manhood itself and fatherhood are so questioned and there's such identity crisis. We need to look at St. Joseph and see what man is supposed to be. One who is completely devoted to his wife and his family. Notice that in all the years from when Joseph was to protect them as he fled into Egypt, he was to safely get them back to Nazareth. We don't hear from Joseph after they get to Nazareth, except for the time when Jesus got lost in the temple, he's mentioned. But other than that, we hear nothing more. St. Joseph lived for 30 years with Mary and Joseph as a family man. And I think it's significant that the Holy Family was just like an ordinary family, husband and wife, mother and father, caring for children. And Joseph, as a carpenter, worked hard every day to supply the needs of his family. It's all so simple that God would come into our world just like we do and live just like we do. It was so much so that when Jesus appeared and started doing his miracles and his teaching, they said, who is he? We know him. He's the son of the carpenter and the son of Mary. They thought that what could come from this simple beginning of a family? And yet God in his plan knew that the salvation of the world was coming from this simple family, that the Son of God would be born to Mary, Joseph would care for him. And until Joseph died, and we don't know when he did, he just was faithful to God. So a just man, open to the holiness of God and what God could do for him, and doing it very humbly and quietly. St. Joseph is the patron and guardian of the church. In guarding Jesus and Mary, he's the guardian of the church. So today we thank God for his witness of his life, and through Joseph, we hope that there be a renewed understanding of manhood and manliness in our own society and the gift of family life. Let us stand and offer our prayers and petitions.